All right, let's dive into this one. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're stepping away from the usual data and articles to break down a short, pretty chilling story. We're going to look at how storytelling itself can build up suspense and horror from something simple. So, right off the bat, we're hit with this really unsettling image. This is such a classic horror trick. You take something totally normal, a cricket stump from a fun game, and you stain it with blood. The story doesn't even start with an action, it starts with a question, which just pulls you right into the mystery. What on earth could this mean?
You know how all the best horror stories start, right? With everything seeming perfectly normal. It gives you this baseline of the everyday world right before things take a really dark turn. And that's exactly where we begin here, with just an ordinary game.
Just picture it for a second. You've got the sound of the bat hitting the ball, kids laughing, the sun's probably setting after a long game. The story sets up this scene of total innocence with our main character Chintu and his buddies. It's a simple, super relatable moment, which of course makes what happens next feel even more shocking.
Okay, so let's get to the exact moment where everything changes. This is the discovery. The thing that completely shatters that ordinary afternoon and just sends the story spiraling into the unknown. So the game's over, all the fun has ended, and it's in that quiet moment of just packing up that Chintu is the one who finds it. The story really focuses on his point of view, which makes us feel his confusion and that creeping fear as he realizes something is very, very wrong here.
The simplicity of this slide is what makes it so effective. This is the moment it's confirmed. It's not a smudge, it's not some red paint. The text just says it plainly. There is blood on the stump. The game is officially over, and a whole different kind of investigation has just kicked off.
Chintu's reaction here is so important. He doesn't just dismiss it or go home and forget about it. His fear tells him that this is something way beyond what he can understand. So what does he do? He goes to find an expert, a baba, a local wise man or holy figure. And that one decision just escalates the problem from being just strange to potentially supernatural.
And now we meet the expert. Enter the Baba. He's not just another character in the story. He's the one who's going to interpret this horror for us, to give a name and a shape to the fear that Chintu literally just stumbled upon. And wow, this slide just perfectly shows that sharp turn the story takes. The Baba doesn't even hesitate. He doesn't try to find some rational explanation. Nope. He immediately confirms Chintu's worst fears. As you can see, he defines the blood as belonging to a terrible spirit. The mystery is officially a haunting now. So now, the Baba turns into this kind of supernatural detective. He knows this isn't just some random event. The spirit has to be tied to a specific place. His question immediately shifts the focus from the what, the blood, to the where. Where did this happen? Chintu gives him the location, and the Baba's reaction just injects this incredible sense of urgency into the whole story. There is no time to waste. He knows he has to go straight to the source. The passive part of the investigation is over. Now it's time for a direct confrontation. Okay, this brings us to the climax of the story. We are just about to find out what, or maybe who, has been disturbed right there beneath the ground. Look at how this slide breaks down the climax into these really tense, deliberate steps. First, the Baba arrives. He doesn't waste a second, he just starts digging. Then, the first reveal, a corpse. And finally, that last action, removing the cloth that's hiding its identity. Every single step just masterfully builds the tension. And there it is, the final, chilling reveal. Underneath that cloth was Kanchana. The spirit now has a name. The source of the blood isn't just some anonymous body, it's a person. That simple statement just lands with incredible weight because it answers one question, but man, it creates so many more. And this is exactly where the story leaves us. It ends on a cliffhanger that just brilliantly reframes everything we thought we knew. The original text might make you wonder what the Baba will do to Kanchana's spirit, but I think a much more haunting question is, what did he already do to her? I mean, how did he know exactly where to dig? That's the real power of a great ambiguous ending. It doesn't give you closure, it gives you a question that just sticks with you long after it's over.